So, oh my goodness, I did an entire 19 minutes broadcast with no sound. And guys, if you could have heard me, I was super excited because I've been wanting to talk about this all day, but I just didn't feel like doing all the camera and the lights and all the things. And I used to do what was called power nuggets. If you remember me doing power nuggets, put that in the comments when you come on or if you catch this on the replay. But I used to do power nuggets where I would come on live, audibly live, but you couldn't see me on camera. And when Facebook updated its app, the accessibility to be able to do that was no longer there. And I think it was, maybe some months ago or last year, the end of last year, when I realized that's what it was, I started to go back and update to the old app. I just never felt like it. So today, right when I got ready to like get everything together to come on live, I put on my abundant mindset, right? And I said, there has got to be a way for me to come on Audible. And sure enough, simply because I allowed my mind to think past the current limitation that I was existing in that time, I remembered that StreamYard may have had an option that allowed me to do it. And sure enough, and here we are. So that's my little abundant thing as we start off, just a way to shift your thinking because being in a space of abundance and existing in a space of abundance is definitely a mindset. I was on the phone with a friend of mine earlier today, and we were just having girlfriend talk. And we were talking about life, and we get into the moment, and she and I rarely have this conversation, but we did on today, and we were talking about how life has its own set of challenges that are built in. And if you aren't careful, right, you will feel like that life's challenges is all that life consists of. Like every time I turn around, right? But it requires you to think from a space of abundance to not ignore it or not be necessarily unaware that it exists, but so that you don't rest in it, so that you're not limited by life's trials. Because whatever it is that you're unable to do is simply because you do not feel it's possible. I'm going to say that again. Whatever it is that you desire to do that you are not doing, that you want to do, is simply because you don't feel it's possible. And it's so easy for life's trials, small things that are built in, a flat tire, something happened with your car, or just, things that happen. Your hot water heater went out, your roof leaking on your home, different things. It's so easy to keep our focus on all the things that could go wrong to the point where we stay in a place of complacency and settling. I need you all to hear me because every single time you have a life incident or occurrence, you have a choice. In that moment, you can choose to allow that thing, which is normally resistance, from you really obtaining the next level of your destiny that you're supposed to have. If you allow that moment to cause you to go back and do what you would normally do, you'll find yourself living from a space of lack. Now, I'm going to say this, and I've said it before, so it's not like I'm saying it because I'm not on camera, okay? But I feel as believers we need to really be clear that there are so many believers who have a poverty mindset. Like the numbers are astronomical. The people who speak faith, people who talk faith, the people who teach faith, the people who preach faith are sometimes the people who are the most inundated with a poverty mindset. And we have to get to the point where we say, do we really believe what we're reading? Do we really believe what it is we say we have, which is faith? How often does a situation or circumstance occur and immediately you go to think about the lack of a thing, what you're missing, what you don't have, how it's not possible? How often does that occur? And we have to be careful because a poverty mindset can be so sneaky, right? It will start being morphed in things like excuses or special moments where we say, I would, but I need to be more responsible. Isn't it funny how when you have an opportunity to do something that's going to change the trajectory of your life, that's when the desire to be super responsible comes in. But you can think back probably to just yesterday where you did something that wasn't the most responsible thing to do, especially as it relates to money. Scripture says, money answereth all things. As my girlfriend and I were talking, we were speaking about a specific individual we knew whose family was very, very, very wealthy. So when life trials happen for this particular individual, because trust me, they happened for her too, when she may have had car trouble or she needed a new car or maybe needed to move to a new home, she moved to a new home. She bought a new car, right? Because there were things that were already built in from her family, things her family had done before her, like for her children's children, that allowed her to experience life trials and situations differently. That energy that her parents had made it available for her because at some point they had to continue thinking from an abundant space in order to continue building wealth that rolled over to their children's children, right? And so, what is it that you've been wanting to do, right? What is it that you need, you want, or you desire? What is that thing? Have you checked on it? Have you gone to look at the house? Have you gone to look at the car? Have you even asked how much? See, the poverty mindset, that scarcity or lack thinking will exist so much that you won't even go and check on the thing. You won't even ask how much because that poverty thinking will have you thinking it's not for me. I can't afford it. It's out of my league. But once you even take the initiative to go look at the thing or ask how much it is, then your mind can begin developing ways that you can afford it, that you are able to afford the thing. But as long as you allow the resistance that comes with poverty thinking to stand to the forefront of your major life changing decisions, things you desire, things you want, things you need, as long as you allow poverty to create a veil for those circumstances, that's the reality you'll live in. You will never live in abundance with a poverty mindset. They won't go together. It just won't happen, right? Because you'll never do the thing that needs to be done to exist in the realm of abundance. That poverty mindset is sneaky. This is why you have to check it often, right? You have to check it often because that poverty mindset will come up with all kinds of excuses that do not align with abundance. So let's think about it like this. So in the garden, right? When I think about, first of all, if you're listening, put in the comments, what do you think about when you think about the Garden of Eden? What thoughts come to your mind when you think about the Garden of Eden? So, me personally, I think about abundance. I imagine this place where it's just flourishing. Fruit, every herb we can think, anything we need. That's just my thoughts when I think of the Garden of Eden, right? So when we go back scripturally, biblically, right? Adam and Eve were in a land full of abundance. But guess what they did? They were in a land where there was fullness of everything, but they started placing their attention on what they lacked. And the one thing they lacked was that one tree. It was just one tree, right? So let's think of the abundance in the garden as 90% and the tree as like 10%. They took their focus off of all of the abundance they had so that they could focus on that one thing they lacked. And when they began to focus on the lack, they did then disqualified themselves from the abundance. And so abundance is all around us. But if you focus on what you do not have, that is what will manifest in your life. You will never live in abundance with a poverty mindset. And it's sneaky. It'll creep up on you. You have to check it, right? Adam and Eve ignored all of the abundance to focus on the lack. And see, because life has its circumstances and things that are built in, a lot of those things become a part of our subconscious mind, and that's where we're really taking action from. It's not from the affirmations that you're saying or the things that you're writing down in your journal. Those things help. They help to retrain your subconscious mind, but you are taking actions or not from your subconscious thoughts, from the habits that you've normally had. You have to get to the point where you intentionally reprogram your algorithm to abundance. You have to get to the place where you intentionally reprogram your algorithm to a place of abundance. Listen, this happens through your connections. Happens through your connections. You need to be connected to people. I talked about this friend thing earlier today on my timeline because so many people are getting advice from their friends who don't have the answers. Listen, guys, that was me until I decided that I wasn't going to spend time talking about things with people who could not help me. Doesn't mean I don't have conversations with my friends if they're not able to help me in financial areas or problems. I still have conversations, but I am full aware of what they can and can't help me with. And oftentimes we look at people based on their titles or the role that they're supposed to play in our life or how we would like for them to be in our life. And we begin to make them responsible for our next. But we got to look at the fruit. We got to look at the fruit, guys, right? Because so many times they're operating from a space of lack as well. So we were talking about your subconscious mind and how you have to be intentional. You have to intentionally set your algorithm to abundance. This happens through your connections. It happens from what you listen to, who you listen to. Think about it. The people that you are connecting with on a regular, consistent basis, are they speaking lack or limitation? Remember, I said it's sneaky, right? And especially if you aren't fully aware that you're operating from a space of lack or poverty thinking, you're not going to recognize it if they are as well, right? So are they speaking lack and limitation? Did you guys know that the word I can't afford that becomes a self fulfilling prophecy? My God in heaven. It begins to align with everything from a cellular level in your body until that is your state of being, right? It's like when you say, I can't, you see something that you desire. We talked about a home, a car. It could be a coaching program that you know you need for your business, for your life, for your healing. It could be seeing a counselor or a therapist, and those words come up. I can't afford that. You know what happens? Hmm. It gives you permission to return back to normal programming. It gives you permission, like the moment that you say that, it's like you settle back in to normal behavior, to normal discomfort, to normal settling, and normal habits. It's like this almost like a sigh of relief. Oh, okay, I don't have to become anything different. I don't have to do anything different. Now that I've said that, and now that I've come in agreement with that thing, I can just go back to my normally scheduled programming, normal ideas, normal routines, normal energy, normal energy. The energy of lack is different from the energy of abundance. The energy of lack is confusion, is stagnation, is exhaustion, it's settling, it's draining, and it's complaining. Lack has an energy. It's fearful, it's misinformed, it's uncertain, it's excuses. Think about it. I've had seasons of lack. That was the energy I was resting in. I was in confusion. I was exhausted. I was in stagnation. I was settling. I was fearful. I was misinformed. I was uncertain. I was making excuses. Lack has an energy, but abundance has an energy as well, guys. It has an energy that says flow. It's excitement, it's creativity, it's possibility, it's faith, it's fresh, it's insightful, it's love, it's fullness, wholeness, strength, vitality, pleasure. To be on one accord with the energy of abundance comes with an empowering reality. All of that is the energy of abundance. Even as I'm saying this now, I feel it in every cell of my body. I feel it from a cellular level. You can also feel it from a cellular level when you're resting in the energy of lack. And they feel completely different. Like I have chills now as I'm explaining the energy of abundance. But the energy of lack is like this draining, lull feeling. You have to alter your mindset in order to alter your reality. Because resistance, there will all wherever there is the energy of lack, um, there will always be walls and blocks. Now, whenever you're setting out to do something different, there's going to be resistance. But in order to remove the resistance, you have to step into the energy of abundance, which is flow, creativity, possibility, faith, insightful love, fullness, wholeness, strength, vitality, pleasure. You have to challenge yourself to access a new realm. You have to police what you're thinking in order to stay in that abundant state. And the biggest thing you have to do is stop making agreements with lack. Stop making agreements with it. Because what you make agreements with will be your reality. Listen, abundance is a state of being. This is what happens for most, right? So if Poverty thinking or wrong thoughts, especially as it relates to money. The Bible says money answereth all things, right? And this is where oftentimes when I say, so many believers live in lack, this is when they can catch themselves. Because when people mention scriptures about prosperity or abundance, they're coming up with all these other things. Like he didn't make those things for us. Like he didn't want abundance for us. Like he hasn't given us power to get wealth. Like they'll change it to all kinds of things, right? With abundance, there is always access, there is always possibility, and there is always more. And when you tap into that realm of abundance, you will see your life transform. You will see a difference in how you face life's trials. When things flip on you, when things don't go exactly the way you plan it, your thoughts in those moments are significant to your destiny. They're significant to your next level. Significant. What is it that you want, that you need, or you desire? Have you checked on it? Have you gone to look at the house? Have you gone to look at the car? Have you asked how much? Have you asked, how can I afford it? See, people will make a way for some of the most mundane things that will not change their lives, that will not add to their life, that will not offer a return, but they'll figure a way out. But when you're ready for your life to exist in the realm of abundance, where even when life flips on you, it doesn't change your vision. You don't dumb down on the vision. When you shift to that space of abundance, of abundant thinking, abundant mindset, where abundance is your state of being, you will stay in flow. You will stay intentionally aligned with how can I and not I can't. How can I and not I can't. That's my take, guys. I'm excited, right? I can feel my energy as I talk about abundance. My prayer is that when you come on and you hear this message, if there was something pressing for you, that you step into the realm of abundance with your thinking, with your mindset. If you're a believer, that you just believe what the word says, that you believe that you are worthy of what's at the next level, of that next thing you desire. My prayer is that you step into that space of being and existing, that you tap into the God realm of abundance, that you stop making agreement with lack, that you say yes, that you say yes to a future that's bigger than your past. That's my take, guys. You guys be blessed. What is that thing you know that you need in the season, or you desire, or you want? Get on one accord with it. One accord, the definition of one accord is of the same mind and spirit. Are you of the same mind and spirit with whatever it is you want, need, or desire? Are you on one accord with it? Is there a unanimous state of being that's existing for you as it relates to your next level? On one accord means at the same time. So when it comes that thing that you need, or that thing that looks like what you need, you feel it in your heart, you feel led, that's your desire, your want, your need. Do you come into agreement with it at the same time? Are you on one accord with it, or are you double minded? The double minded man is unstable in all his ways. It's talking about the mind. It's talking about you being in one day and out the next. It's talking about you saying yes one day and no 5 minutes later. Are you on one accord with abundance? Hmm. Mindset. Your mind has a lot to do with your money and everything else you set out to do. When you tap into the realm of abundance, even when life flips on you a little bit, if you can get on one accord with what the abundant act, thing, thought, word, thought, or action would be in that moment, it will keep you in a space of abundance. But if not, you will always revert back to what a lack mindset will do. You will never live in abundance with a poverty mindset. And this is why you have to police your thoughts. You have to ask yourself, have I stepped out of the flow of abundance yet again? Have I gone back into old habits and old ways of doing things, of being? That's my take on this evening. I pray you guys are blessed. I pray that this shifts you into a new realm, a new thought process as it relates to abundance. That's my take. Peace.